Hello guys, welcome again to another BTC Daily Update. I hope you are doing great today. In today's BTC Daily Update, as usual, we will be analyzing the daily time frame, the 4-hour time frame, and the 1-hour time frame for BTC in hopes of seeing or predicting where the next move might take us. But today I'm going to be adding a little bit to this analysis, the weekly time frame basically, just a little bit about it because it's very, very important in my personal opinion to be talking about this right now. With that being said, like, share, and subscribe. It means a lot if you can help the channel grow. And yeah, let's get started and see what's happening with Bitcoin. So if I remember correctly, last time I left you guys, we were around this area when we broke down from the channel. And I was telling you guys that most likely what's happening here, because we lost this channel, is that we are trending in a channel formation to the downside. All right, this small channel here. So basically tap the top, tap the bottom, tap the top, tap the bottom. So that's the channel formation that we were talking about. And you can see here that we had a very, very perfect touch here around the bottom of the channel. I was expecting something like this. If you remember, I told you something like this. Unfortunately, I didn't get that. I just got a tap of the channel. So tap, tap, tap. Now maybe this happened because this channel is unique to me and a few traders. It's hard to say. But regardless, we did what we were supposed to do. We tapped, tapped, and tapped, and we tapped, tapped, and tapped, and we are still right now trending in this huge flag formation. I think this is just a flag formation, by the way. I think this is just a huge bull flag here, just coiling up basically, getting ready. Now obviously we have to be very, very careful because we tend to have fake breakouts similar to this. But yeah, with that being said, we're gonna start with a daily time frame analysis, and basically the first question and the most asked question obviously for me before the daily time frame analysis is going to be, Maze, are we gonna tap the bottom of the channel once more or not? Now I have an answer actually to this, and my answer actually we will know with regards to my answer. I think the data will be clearer tomorrow. I think tomorrow on basically Monday open, and I'm gonna be explaining why as well. But for now, let me just talk about the daily time frame and analyze it for you guys. As you can see, we are still bearish on the daily time frame. We are still under the daily EMAs. We had a nice bounce at the bottom of the channel where we should have bounced. Right now, are we going to the moon from here? Are we heading to 70k from here? Is very, very hard for anyone to be telling you that yes we are or no we're not. But what I can tell you is one thing, is we need breakout above the daily EMAs, and we need breakout above the heart line of the channel. If we can get a breakout above the heart line of the channel and the daily EMAs, something similar to this, as you can see here, nice breakout candle, then the likelihood of us heading towards the top of the channel will be there. I'll be the first to tell you, all right guys, we're probably gonna head towards the top of the channel once more. Unfortunately, if we do that, the top of the channel might be, let's say, at 66k now instead of 70k. And that 66k, if you check it on the charts basically, which is this area right here, let me just remove the EMA so you can see it. So this area right here is a resistance area now. So basically heading towards the top of the channel is also absolutely meaningless on the long term basically. What we need is we need a clear breakout of the channel, and we need a clear sweep of the all-time highs, of the previous highs basically, on the weekly time frame. Anything that's happening on the daily for me is irrelevant with regards to the Bitcoin bull run and when it's going to resume and if we're going to the moon or not. Because that's the case, my best advice from now till the upcoming 2 to 3 months is just dollar cost average on the lows, little bit by little bit. Don't go all in. Don't buy the dip fully like a crazy person. If you have $1,000, inject a percentage of that $1,000 on every dip that's happening. I have a lot of friends and a lot of people who have different ways of investment. I have people who invest on a weekly basis, like they don't care where the market is, they just inject, let's say, $100 every week on their tokens. I have other people who do something similar to me, which is basically investing on the dips, but with a percentage of the capital that I have. So Everybody has their own way, but the best way will obviously be dollar cost average. So on the daily, unfortunately, we are bearish still, right? Our daily indicators, though, we are not in a point of time where I'd say that we're gonna probably, go towards 44K next week. I don't think we are right now in that point. I think we are in a point where most likely the thing that's gonna happen in the next couple of days, or basically the next week, aka daily time frame, I think that this is where we're probably gonna be heading towards the heartland of the channel, towards a retest of these EMAs because they're coming in. So something, just to give you an idea, that looks very, very similar to this or this. All right, so you can see here consolidation in a downward trend and then retesting the daily EMAs. Now, if we retest the daily EMAs, as I said to you guys before, don't get too excited if you see BTC like this or like this. These are bearish signs, they're not bullish signs. What you would like to see is something like this, okay? So a huge breakout candle over the daily EMAs to signify that the breakout is legit. If we don't get that and we keep getting these bearish signs here, I don't want you to put your hopes up, okay? So most likely we'll probably be trending, let's say, in this part of the channel, okay? Because we can trend in many different ways, as you all know, right? We have resistance, and we have support and support. So we can either trend here, or we can trend here, or we can trend here a little bit and then trend here a little bit till we finally decide to break out, okay? Now, with regards to the 4-hour time frame, before I head to the 4-hour, which basically will translate to the next couple of 24 to 48 hours, basically, I want to talk about the weekly time frame because there's something very, very important, and I'm not going to talk about the weekly here. Well, I will talk about the weekly here first, but obviously I want to see the CME charts as well. But on the weekly time frame, today's Sunday, so today is weekly close. So this week's close will happen, basically. This week's close is very, very important, in my opinion, at least to give us hints on the future of Bitcoin, on whether we will continue down or we'll head up. I don't want the candle to close like this under the weekly EMAs. That's going to be very, very bad. And I don't want the next weekly candle, so next week's candle, I don't want it to close under the EMAs as well. Okay, if you're a bull and you want to rip to the all-time high and go to the moon from here, then you'd like to see weekly candle closes above the weekly EMAs. If we get weekly candle closes below the weekly EMAs, we're gonna get two scenarios basically. One of the scenarios is going to be like this, which is a bearish consolidation for a couple of weeks, and then after that, hopefully a breakout. The second scenario will be something like this, which is very bad. So I'll take this and this right here over this scenario right here. This scenario right here, as you can see here, we had a weekly close under the 30 EMA on the weekly time frame, and then the following week we close below it, and then the following week we close below it, and then these EMAs start to curve and cross, about to cross basically, and finally we get a nice rejection on the weekly EMA once more, and then we dropped it, and we formed a new low. These crossed bearish. We did a fake rally to the upside before the cross, obviously, and then we continued downside. So this is a very big no-no. If we start to see weekly candle closes below the weekly EMAs, it's not the end of the world, and you know this already. I told you this in my previous updates. I told you guys that it's not the end of the world. The end of the world will only happen if we cross bearish on the weekly time frame and we got bearish indications on the monthly. Now on the monthly, we're not looking too good, to be honest and to be fair, especially if you want to compare this current bull run to the previous bull runs on the monthly. But yeah, this is my analysis for the weekly. Now another thing to note, because in the beginning of the video I told you guys that I'm going to answer the question with regards to Maze, do you think that we're going to go to the bottom of the channel once more? Well, going to the bottom of the channel will highly depend, I think, on Monday. The reason being is CME futures closed on Friday, around $56,600 US. Now remember, there's a price deviation between the CME futures chart and the perps chart. So 56.6 could mean 56K in the perps chart, okay? And if you remember correctly, I told you there was a gap between 60 and 90 when we were, hovering around 63 and everybody was happy and saying to the moon. And I told you guys that most likely these gaps will tend to get filled. So here on Monday or on Sunday, which is basically a couple of hours from now, we opened basically above this previous close on Friday and we formed a gap. We had a few bullish bearish days here, and then finally we went to fill that gap. So right now, if BTC on next couple of hours between Sunday and Monday opens, let's say around this area, let's say, okay, so which is around, let's say, 58, 59, 60K even, unfortunately it will leave a gap around 56K. And unfortunately, I think this gap will be filled, okay? So I don't want to alarm you guys when it comes to gaps, and it's too early to say with regards to this, but most likely if we do open very high from that close on Friday, then that gap will be filled eventually. All right, eventually it will. It doesn't have to be filled all the time, but most of the time it does get filled. Now I'm gonna go to the 4-hour time frame analysis and then the 1-hour time frame analysis, and then I'm gonna summarize the video, and then I'm gonna go to the 4-hour, the 1-hour, and then the monthly a little bit, and then I'm gonna summarize the video. All right, and then basically we'll be done for today. On the 4-hour time frame, as you can see here, if you remember as well from my previous update, I told you in order to see any type of rally to the upside, we need some type of curvature on the squeeze indicator with that dark red valley forming, and that will be your telltale sign that the upwards move is probably going to happening on the 4 hours. And we did get that dark curvature on the squeeze around Friday night, I think, if I'm not mistaken. And then obviously we did now a green valley, and basically BTC just pushed up as it should based on the indicators towards the 4-hour EMAs. Got a nice rejection here, previous supply zone, just typical price action on the 4-hour. And right now we are hovering around 57K. Unfortunately, we are on a weekend. So all of this price action is irrelevant for me also. The data here for me is just fake. Institutions move the market, unfortunately not retail, and Sunday and Saturday is retail, so this is all regular folk. Institutions will start their plays and their games on Monday, and institutions will dictate the next move. What I can tell you for sure though is two things. If we see the squeeze indicator start to form a dark green valley here, right, and a nice curvature to the downside, then this is going to drop once more, most likely to fill the gap if a gap is left behind. Okay, right now for me, this 4-hour time frame is still signaling upside. It's not signaling downside, but we have this previous high that we need to take out. We need to sweep this, and obviously we have a huge resistance at 60K. So from now to the next 24 to 48 hours, we can see BTC at 60K. But again, these moves are irrelevant because on the daily time frame, we are bearish and we are under the daily EMAs, and we will remain to be bearish till we break above them with a clear breakout. On the 1-hour time frame, as you can see here, same idea. 1 hour signaling upside. We have a dark red valley here forming, signaling upside. Obviously, we are hitting our heads over resistance here, which is the 1-hour EMA. Obviously break above the 1-hour EMA, and potentially we're probably going to go sweep the highs once more. We have a high here and a high here on the 1-hour time frame. So that basically just means a move to here, for example, which is around the 1K move or a 1.5K move. So it's either this or this. Okay, I personally think it should be something like this because there will be a gap left on the bottom. Okay, I think this will be the case with some type of bearish divergence forming on the 1-hour time frame. And remember, the 1 hour translates to the next 6 to 12 hours. All right. So that is it for the 1 hour, for the 4 hour, and the daily and the weekly. Now on the monthly, I just want to talk very, very, very quickly on the monthly. On the monthly, things are not looking too good for Bitcoin, to be honest. Now, granted, we are above the monthly EMAs. Granted, I'm saying we don't look good based on history. So I'm not saying we don't look good because the monthly looks very, very bad, but I'm just saying we don't look good based on history. So based on history, once the squeeze indicator on the monthly time frame starts to have that dark, green valley, as I told you also, usually it signals bad month coming for BTC. I don't want to say bear markets, bad month. So for example, here, bad month, as you can see, dark valley, bad month. Okay, here we had one bad, I would say two bad month. Here we had a lot of bad month, which was the bear market basically. But usually the dark green curvature on the squeeze usually signals bad months for Bitcoin. But as I told you guys before, I personally think as long as we don't lose those weekly EMAs and they don't cross bearish, well, we're going to lose them. We lost them a little bit. But as long as they don't cross bearish and we start to consolidate below them and, start to get rejected on them, I think we should be good. I think we should be very good. I personally believe that the best case scenario for a nice bull run pop, logical, conservative, is a tap of 48.5 or 49K and then mooning basically after. I think a retrace to 48, 49K there with a wick or something is totally logical and within the realms of possibility for Bitcoin and totally healthy, because it will be basically Bitcoin testing previous resistance to confirm it as support. Anything less than that with closes on the monthly, it will get very, very, very bad. But as I said, we're trying to analyze, the next year with a couple of monthly candles, which is not enough. I will keep you up to date no matter what. So yeah, that is it for today, guys. Just to give you a quick reminder on what I see for today. Daily time frame, unfortunately, I think we are bearish. Obviously, still till we have a daily breakout, but I do believe that we should be retesting the daily EMAs very soon, which is basically the heart line of the channel, which is right here. 4 hour, I think, is upside. I think maybe potentially double top formation here around 58, or maybe sweep the 60K, sweep the highs here, the high here, which is around 58.8K. But I think definitely after that sweep, I think we should head towards the bottom, because a gap should be formed here. On the 1 hour time frame, I think upside as well. Like I said, following the 4 hour, I think maybe like this or like this, and then obviously filling that gap. Weekly time frame, unfortunately, we are bearish, but we need to check the weekly close. It's very, very important, which is happening very, very soon. We don't want weekly close under the EMAs, but unfortunately, it looks like that's going to be the case. This was a nice weekly close, all of these were nice weekly close, but this one is looking very, very bad. But there's time left, there's a couple of hours left, so we'll have to wait and see. So that is it for today's BTC update, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. As always, like, share, and subscribe. It means a lot if you can help the channel grow. And I will see you again in the next BTC daily update. Bye-bye, guys. See ya.